Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Love Drive Helpline, where I answer your voicemail questions. If you want to submit a question yourself, go to the link in my bio on Instagram or the description of this podcast and sign the release. Leave me a voicemail. I will try to answer at least one of these a week. Today's question comes from Camilla from North Carolina. Let's do it.
Hi, this is Camilla calling from North Carolina. What do you do if you feel like you are meant to be with a person, like a specific person, like you just feel in your heart that you'll somehow end up together? I ask because that's how I feel. There's someone from my childhood, really, that we have tried things on and off, but it hasn't worked, and we live in different states. And I just, for some reason, feel in my heart that we're supposed to be together, and I'm kind of waiting on life to just do that. But obviously, life doesn't work that way. So what are your thoughts on this? What if you feel that you're meant to be with someone, but life doesn't work that way?
Hey, Camilla. Yeah. Thanks for your question. This is tough. And this is a fairy tale, right? This feeling that you're meant to be isn't based in reality, right? Even this idea that meant to be is a very sort of Disney-like romanticized ideal of how relationships work. Maybe I'm just too pragmatic for this. You know, relationships are built in the here and now, and it takes more than love or a feeling of it's meant to be for them to work, right? There has to be mutual understanding and desire and willingness to come together to build a relationship. When you said that you've tried several times and that it hasn't worked, but that you feel like it's going to. And to that, I want to say, you might be right. It might work out in the long run. Right? I've heard stories of people that, met early on in life and then, parted ways and eventually found their way back together. But I think in all those stories, they didn't just wait around for that to happen. They lived their life, right? Your daily life. They went about life. They met new people. They had new relationships. They might have even gotten married and had kids. And then that relationship ended, because a lot of relationships end, and eventually found their way back. Right? And what's different about that story is that these people, these hypothetical people that I assume must exist, continue to live their life. And what I'm hearing from you is that you're sort of waiting. You're in standby mode for life to bring you back together. And I don't think that's a great strategy. And I'm sure this person is fantastic and that the time that you do spend together is really special, or else you wouldn't be waiting around. I also want to invite you to consider that there are other people that you can build a meaningful connection with, that live in your state and even your city, and that are more likely to be a good fit, at least for now. Now, this gets a little tricky, because if your heart is still pining for, and you are waiting for this other person, then it makes it really hard for you to open up to someone who's here now, right? You might always be a little reserved, especially if you've got a corner of your heart tucked away for somebody else. So I'd love for you to just accept the fact that this relationship isn't going to work right now, and maybe ever. As in, clear the space from your heart that is reserved for this other person. And of course, easier said than done. Definitely. But I think it's really important, really, really important to accept the reality of the situation, which is that currently you and this other person have no relationship. And of course, there might be one in the future. But holding out hope for that prevents you from opening your heart to somebody else, to somebody here, now. Even if it feels like there's no one here now. There are people, you just haven't met them yet. And they haven't met you yet. And I think that you can build a meaningful connection with somebody here while still staying open to what life has to offer. And that may be this other dude. And it might be something even better than you could have ever imagined. I really want you to be open to this possibility that your ideal scenario, right? You being with this person eventually at some point down the line, that there could be an even better scenario for you. You just haven't dreamed it up yet. I sort of feel like, life conspires with you, but that you don't get to know how it ends up, right? You don't get to know the outcome of your life and your love life. How could you? Life is too big and too complex for us to even consider that we know how it's going to end up. So, of course, I want you to have the love that you so desire. But I also don't want you to wait on the bench or on the sidelines of life, waiting for life to miraculously bring this person back to you. Because what happens if it doesn't? Then you stood around waiting for what? Loneliness? Saving yourself for someone who's never going to come? I don't want that for you. I want you to meet people that are lovely and loving and tender and full of care and compassion and play and who are there for you here and now. And that's not to say that you can't have a long distance relationship, right? I'm not bagging on long distance relationships, but even those require willingness on both parties. Both people need to be willing to make it work and to do the work required. Also, I like to say that if you're really meant to be, nothing can keep you apart. Really, if the universe wants to put you together, it will. And that is a very idealistic way of looking at love and life. But if you think about it, it makes sense, right? If you're meant to be together, nothing can keep you apart. Not even you being in a different relationship. Not even them being in a different relationship. The universe will conspire, which means you don't have to wait around for the universe to do that. You can live your life. You can meet other people and fully trust that if you are meant to be, it'll happen. I realize this sounds a little bit like Disney love, but at the same time, it's very practical. What I'm saying is don't put your life on hold waiting for the universe to do what it does or it's going to do. Live your life fully and trust that it will pan out the way it's supposed to pan out, whether it's with this person or somebody else. Maybe somebody more aligned. Dare I say, maybe somebody even better and more loving. That's what I want for you. And that's all I got. Good luck and have a beautiful week.